Alright, everyone. This is going to be a mini VOD review of half of a map, 7 minutes and 30 seconds of footage. This will be of our unsuccessful Numbani attack, where we do not push all the way. This is in a scrim against. I don't know the name of this team actually, so who knows? But it's us and it's them, and right now we're playing Dive versus Dive. So one key thing to point out about the comps is that I would say our comp definitely has the advantage, mainly because of Discord advantage. Just, you know, it's so much easier to focus targets with Discord compared to not having Discord. Okay, so initial dive is 2 tanks against the Ana. Oh, 2 tanks and Tracer on the Ana. Bubble placement misses by just slightly, but that's fine. How Ana doesn't die? Does she nade herself? Yeah, she does. I think the main reason why that dive wasn't successful is because Genji wasn't in position. Oh, I get booped off the high ground. Okay. Because if I was there to dash, you know, an extra at least 50 damage could have killed her much faster. Because I have to use my dash to get up there, and I don't actually dash Liana. Which goes to show, like, if one small part of the dive goes wrong, like, that can all fall apart very quickly. Let me just check what our Zen was doing there. Okay, so actually, when we're going for that dive, Isabel, when you know that we're going to dive someone, I'd like to see you try to like push up to put Discord on them prior to the dive, because I think that like if you had poked about here, you could have maybe gotten the Discord on the Ana before the dive. And what is our Mercy doing during the dive? I'm claiming this objective. Let's get you that out there. Okay, so so I did say you can pocket the Zen. What I meant by pocket the Zen is pocket the Zen if Zen is dying, not pocket the Zen if Zen's on the low ground, not doing really anything. So I'd like to see you have your tether on one of the tanks and fly up with them. I'll go like this so it's easier. So that, you know, you Guardian Angel about to here. If they counter dive, you stay. If they dive our Zen, then you fly back. So in general, that dive was pretty good. Well coordinated on the same target. But like half our team really didn't find much value, being the Genji, the Zen, and the Mercy. Genji arrived too late. Zen couldn't get the angle for the Discord, and Mercy was damage boosting Zen, who didn't really have an angle on anyone. Okay, so here, as we get our tank cooldowns, I'd like to see us jump up to this high ground. Like, always just try to look to stage from high ground, not low ground. Because in this comp, if we're running fairly similar comps. They have more healing than we do, but we kind of counteract that with our greater damage. So our tanks and their tanks can like if their tanks want to play this corner and our tanks want to play this, like the same corner but from a different angle, like tanks usually aren't going to be able to force each other off unless they hard engage, and that's like just a waste of cooldowns. So yeah, there's no reason not to be going up on this high ground right now. I think here we're waiting for Tracer to get set up. Yeah. And like, notice how D.Va doesn't make it even though she just straight flies for the Ana. Where was that Ana's nade? Did she have it when she died? She did. You throw her. But yeah, again, I'd like to see a stage from the high ground. And something I'd also like to see from Dan is because if you're going in on, if we're going for like what I'll call like a perfect dive, which is when the Winston jumps in with the D.Va behind him and both DPS collapsing all on the same target at once, right? That's like a perfect dive. You don't have to instantly bubble, because say here, like, what is the bubble best for? Bubble is not best for blocking damage. Bubble is best for blocking cooldowns. But if D.Va's flying in behind you with defense matrix, the most powerful cooldowns on you are from the Ana. So the D.Va can defense matrix the Ana, and as that matrix runs out is when you should look to place the bubble. Otherwise, you kind of double up on doing the same thing. Blade was overkill. But I think I saw our main tank die, and I was like, ah, shit. Okay, so in terms of ultimate economy, we have 4 and they have 5. Wait, is that a default? Is that mech charge or bomb charge? Bomb charge. So they have 5. They're Winston primaled. I missed that. How did I miss the Winston primaling? Hold on. Wait, did he primal? He had to have, right? There's no way he's only at 20%. Okay, yeah, he did primal. So let's go back. Okay, so dive goes on to the Ana, and like here, like we have all 4 people going there. Pulse bomb goes in, sticks on Winston, and he uses primal to survive. Yeah, okay. I see. Okay, how do we actually win this fight? So we trade main healer for Dan. How does Dan die so fast? We get sandwiched in. Okay, so that was probably because Frank wasn't there to DM him from that D.Va, because he was taking point-blank D.Va shots. Which really emphasizes the fact of like how important D.Va is. And here, I'd like to see that, like, as we dive on the high ground, like, if you're taking damage, just try to fall back down, because that's a viable path of retreat. Otherwise, also fairly clean. Just like small, like unlucky mistakes. First fight, you know, Genji not being able to be there, and second fight, D.Va not being able to be there on time. Okay, so notice how, because Dan jumped in and placed his bubble, and he didn't find any value, now they're starting to push up, and we have to kind of give them space, and we're Valking in response. So rather than jumping like you did, farther. Okay. So like you're jumping here, right? And like, I guess you're going for Ana. All right. Yeah, but like this is like a very like optimistic dive if you're hoping to kill Ana. So I'd like to see you, you know, jump up here. Are we recording? Just make sure. Yeah, we are. Okay, good. So I'd like to, oops, I forgot. Epic Pen's kind of weird. Okay, I'd like to see you jump up here. Again, not to, you know, jump down and attack the Ana, but for staging, right? Constantly look for a place to stage your dive so you don't have to jump from the cart to try to dive their whole team.
Sterben nicht. Nerf this.
Okay, so Dan goes in with primal. Is that to survive bomb? Is that for a second jump reset? Or I think it's to survive. Okay, so we hard dive Ana. So, like, now that we're all pushed up, that's pretty good. Now, notice how this team just completely ignores the Zen. Unless Tracer turns around right now. No, she doesn't. Is she gonna fight Zen now? Like, look how long it takes for them to actually realize, oh shit, there's a Zenyatta who's killable. Well, apparently not, because fucking Isabel's insane. But, like, that went fairly well because of their ignoring of our Zenyatta. Okay, I like this aggression from Dan, getting back his ultimate. Don't we accidentally kill her here? No, she just... Oh yeah, this is where we thought she'd jump off, but she doesn't. Or at least I thought she'd jump off. Okay, again, ultimates. They have both double support ults and a Genji. So Nanoblade and Beat. We have our Blade, our Trance, our Bomb, both of our bombs. Okay, so their Nanoblade is definitely not a problem. What I could see us doing here is going aggressive with the Transcendence, forcing them to burn resources. Maybe we can force out the Beat and then go for a Dragon Blade. Okay, so Bomb forces out Bubble, which is good. But why is everyone so scattered all of a sudden? What happened? It's like we heard our Diva Bomb and we were like, oh shit, it's their bomb, and everyone ran to every direction. Okay, where's our Tracer? Where are you? Oh, you're up there. Okay. I think the bomb was trying to block recontest, so that's fine. But our Winston jumps into the enemy nothing. What were you diving?
Nerf this!
Oh, you're diving the Genji. Okay. So yeah. Because we know they're gonna come to cart. So actually, I think the issue here, in the essence, is the initial positions of the Zenyatta. Because, so we're, like, they have they have two options. Jump to cart or lose. So, knowing this, if you play, like, I don't know if you play back here, or if I even go back further. If you play over here, or over here, you know they're going to use their cooldowns to get here, so there's going to be very little they can do to get to you, unless they use their cooldowns, like, unless they get a cooldown reset and then jump you again. The zoning bomb was fine in theory, but the execution was not, was a bit scuffed. And, as our Diva bombs, I would wait as Winston to dive. Wait for Diva to get back in mech. So we lose our Zen early on. They do overinvest in Nano Boost and Dragon Blade, though. This push was unsuccessful, right? I don't remember making it to the end. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, we're reviewing this map. Wait a second. Sigma? Interesting. Okay, pressuring the Winston off the high ground is fine. Except for the fact that we leave Zenyatta. Aiden comes to deal. That's not something you see every day. Okay, yeah. Like, when Oct flies back, like, this is what I want to see. But he solo primals our Zenyatta, so there's nothing really we can do. What is Winston doing? Yeah. You're kind of going on this, like, flank. Which, yeah, I'd want to see you stay more next to the Diva. That was a weird one. Oh, we killed someone. Hold on. I'm very confused by what the fuck's going on. It's a big jumbled mess. Okay. So, pushing up. He forces Winston, and really the DPS shouldn't have went there, because something that we have to recognize is when someone is not an engageable target. Like Winston, without jump, is a fine target to engage on, but with jump he's not. So Frank is doing the right thing by pressuring him off high ground, but DPS are doing the wrong thing by joining him, because we know that the Winston can jump away. So we'd want to save our DPS cooldowns for doing something like this, where we have to go back and peel. Now the team's like really split doing god all. Oh, I got caught on that ledge. Okay, so now we're down 1, but we Valkyrie to equalize, which I think is fine. Okay, Dan goes in for the primal, which could win the fight for us. Now it's all down to target priority. Okay, what it looks like to me is that I don't think our Zen, like, because Zen just got rezzed and is coming back. So, as a team, we need to recognize when Zen isn't in a position to actually provide damage in the forms of those orbs of destruction, and also is not in position to provide discord. As a team, we need to recognize that, and as Zenyatta, you need to say, if we're about to dive, you have to say, hey, I'm not there, I can't give you discord. Because then Zen's effectively useless. So we give them, like, we have, if Zen's not in the fight, then in terms of discord, we're even, because neither team has a discord orb, but they just have superior healing. And, like, more sustain, and their backline is more sustainable. If that was reactionary to mock, holy shit, that was amazing. Okay, again, the issue here is not diving from a good position. Like, we dive, so look at this. So Dan's diving from, Dan dove from here. Like, where you, like, he dives here, which is fine, based on where he's diving from. But the important thing is to start from a better position. Like, if you had started here, Ana was totally in range. So as a team, we really need to stage more. We're forcing the dive way too much. Like, we're playing dive, and because we're playing dive, we're like, oh, we're playing dive, so we have to dive to win. But there's nothing that's actually, like, giving us the correct trigger for the dive, you know what I mean? Like, there should be some catalyst. There should be something that we see, like, someone's wildly out of position, someone wasted a big cooldown. That's what we should be using to initiate the dive. But we're kind of just diving from nowhere to nowhere and dying.
Checked out. I'm back in the fight.
30 seconds remaining.
Wait, gotcha.
Gotcha! Kills herself. Their Ana should die here. Their Ana lives.
Into the iris.
Time to raise.
Helden sterben nicht.
Time to raise my APM.
The defense matrix. Oh, it's just a tiny bit off. DM is going this way, which is where the Ana was before she moved. I think the issue was that Frank was blind diving, so that's why he didn't know where the Ana was. Is that right? Yeah, you were.
This will protect.
Yeah, Anna's on your screen for like a tiny bit.
Helden sterben nicht.
So defense matrix doesn't get onto the
Time to
Ana.
raise my APM.
Yeah. That's so unfortunate. That's not your fault, but unlucky. So that Nade doesn't get eaten, so she heals herself and antis both DPS, putting them really low. Recall's forced. And Genji's forced to back off and then dies, and Ana's still alive. See, like, look how close we are. Like, if we had like a few more seconds, D.Va would have been able to walk forward a few more steps, see where the Ana was, to dive her with the Winston with defense matrix to eat the nade. Genji wouldn't have Genji wouldn't have died. Tracer wouldn't have recalled, and Ana would be at 100 less health. So we would have been up in Ana. Our Genji would be still alive. So we'd be up 2 people, and we'd have recall. All because of a slight, like, blind dive issue of not being able to find the Ana. But in general, what we learned from this is that, like, this really shows you how, like, we're getting to that high level. Like, no, we're not like a tier 1 or tier 2 team, but like, you know, we are a diamond team now, and diamond teams call for diamond coordination. And this isn't platinum, because plat's kind of like group up and group up. There's a good saying. It was like group up, go in, nothing more, sometimes less. So, like, if a tiny bit of our initial plan goes wrong, the entire thing just falls apart. So, this really shows you like how coordinated these dives really need to be. So something I'd like to see more is we need to stage more as a team. Yes, we're running less healing, which means we have to act faster. But what that means is, like, even though we have to act faster, we're still acting too fast. We're diving from really poor positions, which leads to poor landings. Like, we're landing in inopportune places, or things are like not going in our favor because we're not starting from a good position. And I'd also like to see individually, we need to make better usage of our Zenyatta, because our Zen isn't getting as, like, especially on this map, like, we weren't making enough space for Zenyatta to operate on. And I'd like to see bubble usage be a little more passive. Like, have trust in your D.Va, Dan, that she'll be able to, or Frank, he'll be able to eat the Ana nade and sleep. So yeah, staging, Zen value, and Winston bubbles. 3 things that we need to work on in dive, or in this variant of dive on this map. That's what we really got wrong. Everything else is like fairly good. Like, dives were well coordinated. We're all at least going in at the same time. But yeah. See you on the next VOD review.